Nobody here. Thank goodness. I've had about enough of this. I've spent many depressing evenings in my time, but a ball at a lunatic asylum beats the lot. Just fancy. 200 dancers, and almost every one of them insane. It was all Jack's fault. He said I should find it such splendid fun to listen to the strange delusions of the patients. Fun indeed! Well, perhaps I have no sense of humor, but to me, they're just about as funny as a funeral. They've got but a half dozen or so of delusions between them, and they copy one another's words and business like a lot of understudies. I've danced with no less than 3 empresses of China. 4 of my partners informed me they were queens of the air, and implored me to go out on the roof and fly together to the sunny south. The only one who seemed to have a line of business all to herself was my last partner, until she started screaming at me, claiming I borrowed her nose and had not returned it. How refreshing this quiet is after the noise of the rooms below. I feel so tired, quite sleepy. Maybe I'll sit down and rest right over here.
Thank goodness. Some empty space where I can rest for a while in quiet. And why did Aunt Maria bring me to this ghastly, gruesome function? I was assured that everyone would be harmless. I suppose they meant that they wouldn't try to murder me. And of course that's some comfort, but their insane ramblings made my very flesh, and then their vacant laughter. Oh, it's horrible. Where am I? There's nothing here. I don't think I'll stay. Good God, who is that?
By Jove! Oh dear, it's one of them. How do you do?
Oh, I hope he isn't a violent one.
I suppose I should address her as usual. Excuse me, are you looking for anyone? Hamlet, the Prince of Denmark, perhaps?
I knew it. He's a lunatic. I must humor him and then get away. Yes, I am in fact looking for Hamlet, my lover, the Prince of Denmark.
Mad as a hatter. Oh, I just left him. We were sitting for 6 months on the top of the North Pole, tossing for chocolate drops and making railway station sandwiches.
Really? How shall I get away? Would you mind accompanying me in search of my partner?
Pray, excuse me. The truth is, I am expecting a visit from the Queen of Sheba and the Archbishop of Canterbury. They're coming to offer me a tomb in Westminster Abbey.
Ah, well, I'm afraid I must be off. The balloon is waiting for me at the attic, my swan balloon.
Well, I could just blow you home in my pea shooter.
No. I'll just summon the family air balloon to take me home.
But of course. And the coachman is a copper-colored cockatoo, I suppose?
Precisely. With the cold in the head. Would you like to come along with me?
No, thank you. I prefer my old-fashioned pea shooter. So simple. You put yourself in one end, and poof, there you are.
Well, don't do so too soon. We have loads more to discuss.
Of course. I've never met a mind that functions so similarly to mine.
The Earth is flat.
Flesh-eating, extraterrestrial, reptilian humanoids one day overtake the Earth.
Communists have been poisoning our water supply for over 50 years.
The FBI shot John F. Kennedy.
Stephen King shot John Lennon.
Paul McCartney died in a car crash in 1966.
Stevie Wonder isn't actually blind.
The Denver International Airport sits above an underground city that is the headquarters for the world order.
All moon landings are hoaxes.
No. In fact, Hitler survived World War II and fled to the moon.
Jayson, can we stop doing this?
Yeah, sounds good.
Shit. Hey, Jayson.
Yeah?
When's the last time you heard someone use the word lunatic?
I don't know if I've heard someone say that in my entire life. But I also don't think it's used super often anymore.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard any in a while, or maybe ever, I'm not really sure. But like there are newer versions of the word, like psycho. When's the last time you heard someone use the word psycho?
I for sure heard someone say psycho, but like I can't pinpoint a time I've heard it.
Okay.
But I heard it.
Okay. How about crazy? Like, when's the last time you did something and someone was like, "That was crazy. You're crazy."
I mean, I just say it a lot in my speech. Sometimes I'll be like, I feel crazy. I feel crazy right now. What about you?
People have definitely called me crazy, and I don't think it's warranted. But I don't ever use the word.
I say it sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know. I don't use the word. I don't think it's a right to throw around, especially because it's made to make people feel other. So, yeah. A Pair of Lunatics by W.R. Walks premiered in 1895 at the Drury Lane Theatre in London.
And there's very little information or criticism on the play online or in the public library.
A one-liner summary of the play is a variation of two characters meet and mistake each other for lunatics, and the fun that ensues is immense.
A 12-page play that is the sole surviving artifact of this writer from the 1800s. Do you like Shakespeare, Kaya?
What do you mean, do I like Shakespeare?
Well, he's older than Walks, and Shakespeare's far more produced than Walks, and we learned the Shakespeare acting technique in college, and I guess I'm just like, did you?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I don't know how much I hold myself to using the techniques, but the language is beautiful, and the topics are still relevant in today's world, so...
In what way is the language beautiful?
The rhythm, the way he's able to explain such simple things, and create these beautiful painted pictures. This is just not a way that, we colloquially talk today, or a way that a lot of text gives us now. We don't get those beautiful pictures like we did before.
A Pair of Lunatics is a short vaudeville where two people are invited to a party at an insane asylum.
Both characters decide the patients are too much, and they decide to excuse themselves independently from the scene.
And in hiding from the party, they find each other and assume each other to be a patient of the facility.
Simultaneously deciding to act like lunatics.
The characters are pretending to be people they are not, played by people they are not.
Isn't that what we do? Amidst the role-playing, the pretending, the woman reveals herself to believe that she is Ophelia from Shakespeare's Hamlet.
The man goes along with it, reciting lines from the play in no particular order.
In this situation that appears to have no logic at all, they decide to recite Shakespeare to anchor themselves, to have some sort of mutual understanding.
It is 2020, and there are still theater companies, entire theater companies, dedicated to solely producing Shakespeare's plays.
I was invited to this Facebook group during the lockdown that organizes weekly readings of Shakespeare's plays over Zoom.
I want to say that things are much different now than they were back then.
Yes and no. They're kind of the same in some ways.
She had the body of a beauty queen, put on a pedestal for good hygiene. And I saw a girl who looked like you, and I wanted to tell everyone to run away.
In Shakespeare's Hamlet, Ophelia witnesses Hamlet, the person she loved the most, psychologically deteriorate and harass her. A love once in full bloom dries up, shrivels, ceases to exist.
In the first act of Hamlet, the guard at Elsinore says, "Something rotten in the state of Denmark." At the very beginning of the play, you know something's gonna go very, very wrong.
I could tell this play was gonna go very, very wrong when I learned the play was called A Pair of Lunatics.
I always thought it was Hamlet that said that line, but it wasn't. It was Marcellus, the guard at Elsinore, with the night shift, realized the corruption in the state of Denmark and not the family themselves.
It seems so obvious now.
It's a little on the nose.
The foundation was never solid. The center was never gonna hold.
You can't plant seeds in infertile ground and expect them to grow into plants.
You can't expect kids to focus and you're not feeding them in school. It just don't work like that.
I've been disillusioned. Love is fake.
You know,
No.
okay.
Let me tell you. You grow up. You see all these rom-coms. You see parents. You see marriages and weddings, and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna find somebody pretty, and I'll always be happy. Look at you. Look at me. Are we happy?
No, I am disappointed that the literal people that built this country, the fabric, are disenfranchised. They're forgotten. Their necks are constantly being wrung and stepped on. Stepped on.
Come on.
Come on, fabric.
Come on, fabric. I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth.
This goodly frame, the earth seems to me a sterile promontory.
This most excellent canopy, the air. Look you.
This majestical roof, fretted with golden fire, what appears to be nothing to me than a pestilent and foul congregation of vapors.
Run away from her. Run away, run away. It couldn't happen you, but she had your eyes made for faking smiles and turning tides. Hands full of young men wrapped around.
A Pair of Lunatics ends with both characters realizing that neither of them are patients.
They both assume that the other are clinically insane, and so they pretend that they are both clinically insane for practically all of the play.
And they both have asides, talk out loud, talk to the side to the audience, back to address each other, and it's one of my least favorite theatrical devices, because I hate anything that makes the actor look nuts.
Yeah, I can only suspend my disbelief to a certain extent.
I hate being patronized by the actor.
You know, I think that's kind of the point, though, to make the actors look nuts on stage. We're all a little off-kilter, so it's not really surprising. I don't know. Like, how can you not be a little nuts? We're all in this permanent state of disequilibrium, and through all this mush, and I don't know, there's a bunch of sides especially in the Jacobean era, There's a bunch of sides in Shakespeare's plays, there's characters.
Right, yeah. That's true.
Yeah. I think the point is to bridge the gap between audience and character.
Like direct access to the character's thoughts.
Like me. I've been sharing my open thoughts with you in the rolling camera this whole time.
And now, the aside is broken. It doesn't work anymore.
We've progressed past it.
They made you a throne out of magazines. They made you a crown out of peonies.
In Act 3 of Hamlet, Hamlet tells Ophelia that he never loved her.
That she is evil. That she needs to be cleansed of all her sins.
Can you imagine? The person that you love more than anything, that you trusted and cherished, telling you that they never loved you and they call you a fucking hoe.
That everything you thought you knew to be true was all of a sudden backwards.
It's like there's a list of unwritten rules and you couldn't find them. And then one day, all the rules changed and you still couldn't see them.
Totally.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Oh.
The world doesn't look like it did a year ago.
I don't think it'll look that way ever again.
Do you think that's for the best?
I don't know, but I think it's important for me to pretend to believe that it will be.
And somehow, through all this muck, this quintessence of dust,
Through the foul and pestilent congregation of vapors,
we are here in a desert reciting Shakespeare.
we are literally standing on a volcanic crater. This natural landmark last erupted 68,000 years ago.
Both things came before us and will likely still be standing long after we're gone.
Is that a hearse or a limousine? It's like I see it on the TV screen.
What's next?
Next?
Like, what do we do now?
Man delights me not. No. Nor woman either.
And what is this quintessence of dust?
And I saw a girl who looked like you, and I wanted to tell everyone to run away from her. Run away, run away. It couldn't happen to you, but she had your eyes made for faking smiles and turning tides. Hands full of young men wrapped around